Well, good morning. I'm Dr. Eric Warner. I'm the founder of Fair Advisors Limited, and I'm pleased to be here with Dominic Keene, who is going to talk to us today about the Starbucks Fund, which he's in the process of raising. Hello, Dominic.
Hi, Eric. Great to be with you
Good to
this
see you.
morning.
So, Dom, very quickly, tell us about the fund, how it's constructed, and what its investment thesis is.
Great. Um, the fund is a £60 million fund, which has been set up to back really businesses that we think can, quite rapidly become global leaders in whatever sort of sector or segment of work they operate in, but with a particular focus on robotics and automation. So we believe that over the next few years, the whole global economy is going to be really substantially transformed by automation technologies. And the Starbucks Fund is a vehicle that gives investors access to that trend.
And this is a Guernsey-based fund. Has it been set up in Guernsey?
Correct. We're establishing the fund in partnership with an existing Guernsey-based operator called StarTech, who in recent years have been running a secondary strategy, which has now come to a conclusion. So we're partnering with them to set up a new fund structure, which really, as I say, gives investors access to the really sort of creme de la creme of automation technologies.
Okay. Well, of course, AI is the buzzword at the moment in investment. Is this integral to the fund as you're developing?
To a certain extent, I mean, AI sits at the heart of many of these automation technologies, but I think increasingly there's a sort of nagging doubt that just pure play AIs, in of themselves are not necessarily going to deliver the enormous sort of productivity benefits that they need to deliver to pay back the huge amounts of investment that have gone in. However, the real attraction of automation technologies is they can use these fundamental AI developments and apply them to the real economy in a much more manifest way. And that's actually how the return on investment from AI will get delivered.
So this is kind of applied AI in various sectors.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And particularly in the physical world rather than just sort of virtualized systems.
Understood. So the investment thesis, I think, is well known and pretty sound. But of course, the devil's in the detail. So give us an example of some of the individual investments and businesses that are in the fund.
Correct. So we've I guess built quite a strong reputation, particularly in the area of maritime robotics over the last few years. So, for example, our kind of poster child in that area is a business called Rad Propulsion, which is both an electric propulsion company, but also brings a large amount of autonomy to existing boats. So effectively, it makes sort of driverless boats a reality, and it could be almost seen as like the Tesla of boating. So that business is growing very fast. We've also got another business called Aqua Ocean, which does long-range autonomous sea trips on a hydrogen-powered vessel, which again is getting a lot of traction. So that's on the maritime side of things, but we're also in lots of other sectors, things like civil engineering, agriculture. We have a great business called Housebots, which does wall climbing robots, which is now selling its product all around the world.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. And tell me how. At what stage is the fundraise, and how can investors get involved?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the Starbucks Fund, we're proposing that's a £60 million fund, which will close in 2026, and we're building a strong corpus of support for that, particularly from sort of asset managers and institutional investors.
Right.
But in the meantime, we are offering a portfolio of 6 companies, which are all already in the process of fundraising and creating that package and making that available to investors right now. And there will then be the opportunity for investors that come into that pilot portfolio to then transfer their holdings into the bigger fund once it's launched.
I see.
So there's an opportunity immediately for people to get invested.
Okay. Yeah. But so now, just to be sure, these are all businesses which you have invested in for quite a while, and which have been successful. Is that correct?
Correct. So and in terms of the 6 companies, they're all historical investments that are continuing on their growth journey. We anticipate for the main Starbucks fund, when it's launched, that it will not only have just historical investments that that I've made in my previous activities, but also will, cherry pick some of the very best, fastest growing international businesses in applied AI as well.
So how many businesses will you expect to be in the final fund?
So the final fund will have up to around 18 businesses.
Right.
And across a whole variety of different sectors and applications. So investors really get the benefit of all the different areas that robotics and automation is extending into at the moment.
Okay. Well, that sounds very fascinating indeed. And so how can investors get involved? Who should they contact? How can we go forward from here?
Yes. Again, we're currently marketing our pilot portfolio of 6 companies, and information on that is being circulated to investors. And they should come back to me, Dominic Keane, to take it forward.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. Nice to be here, Dom. Thank you.